BK Lobster scandal. Another entrepreneurship guru scammer strikes again. I'm Queen, the Veil Lawyer with Bell Terra Law Firm, here to talk to you all about the dangers of entrepreneurship and why you should always seek wise counsel, a licensed attorney of your choosing who you trust to guide you through the entrepreneurship process, especially when it comes to franchises. Franchises, they actually have their own entire separate area of law, real strict and stringent rules, and it is actually federal law. It is based in federal law because ideally, franchisees, they want to expand all across the United States and even internationally as well. So depending on how large the franchise is, not only are you dealing with federal law, but you can cross the lines into international law as well. So anytime it comes to a franchise, you must seek wise counsel from a licensed attorney of your choosing. So the BK Lobster scandal, I am not surprised. When I first heard about it, it wasn't shocking to me, okay, that this happened. So basically what happened was the alleged owner of BK Lobster, which these were actual storefront brick and mortar restaurant buildings, okay? They were actually serving food, but it was essentially MLM scheme dealing with franchises and franchisees. So what essentially happened was this guy, he opened up this seafood restaurant called BK Lobster, in the New York area. The first restaurant, it really had good revenue. And because of that, a lot of people wanted to open up their own franchise branch of BK Lobster. So these people decided to, and I'm really just shortening this story because the story is really much longer than this. So the franchisees, those are the people who wanted to open their own store, went to the franchisor, the guy who allegedly owned BK Lobster, to open their own brick and mortar seafood restaurant, upscale fancy restaurant. So essentially what happened is they invested tens of thousands and even hundreds of thousands of dollars into these restaurants, and like always, the same old broken record, they were promised a large return, ROI, in a short amount of time. Of course, we know that they didn't do, none of that happened. Okay, so they did get the restaurant, but of course, within a couple of months, and even some restaurants in a couple of weeks, just went completely downhill. So that left them in a position where they're reaching out to the franchisor, and I'm specifically, not naming names at this point, in order to get their investment back. Of course, there was no investment to get back because it was a scam. And when all of the franchisees were telling their story, common theme was they literally just signed the contract without reading it. Or some people, they didn't even sign the contract. They just forked over tens of thousands of dollars and hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash to this guy to open this restaurant. And so they are in this situation where they are trying to go to the attorney general, file complaints and trying to sue and things of that nature. Listen, look at here. When it comes to civil lawsuits, what a lot of people don't understand, even if you win your civil lawsuit and you get a money judgment, that does not mean that you're going to get that money. Because if there's no money to be gotten, you ain't going to get it. So a lot of people really do not understand that full aspect of getting a civil money judgment. So they are seeking to sue. But here's some things that I really need to get out here regarding the scams that are going on now, have gone on in the past, and they're going to continue going on because we have people who truly feel like they can just skip steps when it comes to entrepreneurship, and even with franchises. It just does not work like that. That is just like going to McDonald's, Burger King, or Subway, and you thinking that you can just fork over some cash and not sign any contracts, or you sign the contract and you're not even reading it to know what you have to do as the franchisee in order to remain in good standing with Burger King, McDonald's, or Subway. So here's the deal. Anytime somebody's a soothsayer, they're just talking real slick, always say, oh, just investing and investing. And what people think is investing, it is not really even investing, okay? True investing is securities law, and you have to register with the SEC, sec.gov, okay? Like, that's the domain name. So a lot of people are talking about investing, and they're not even true investors. So when I start hearing people throw around the word investing, and I know that they're not talking about securities law and SEC and registering with them and things of that nature, that, it's just some hogwash, essentially. So also, we have to keep in mind, when you think of lobster, when you think of seafood, look, I know New York is a multi-ethnic melting pot and all of that, but nobody thinks of New York for seafood. Like, nobody thinks of them for that. So the name in and of itself, just suspicious. I mean, we have Maine lobster, then, Maryland with the crabs and, all of that. Then, of course, I got a rep for Louisiana because I'm from Louisiana. We got the best seafood. It is what it is when it comes to that. So to have the name BK Lobster, to me, coming from where I come from and where I currently live, I don't even register in my mind Brooklyn with seafood and lobster. Like, it just doesn't even make sense. Also, we just heard about what happened with Red Lobster. And Red Lobster is a famous national, and I don't know if they're international, but they may be, just a famous franchise. And we see what happened to them. They had to end up filing bankruptcy. So for this business to come up right after Red Lobster essentially went downhill and had to go bankrupt, even though they still, selling their cheddar bay biscuit mix in the stores and things like that, it's just the red flags were right there in their face all along. Also, this guy was literally, whoever was giving him the money, he was just opening up storefronts left and right, literally had these upscale lobster and seafood restaurants within walking distances of each other. That's not how this goes. It's not like literally around the corner and stuff. So that's just not how it goes. That's not okay. And a lot of the red flags were just there all along. And it really just boils down to people trying to skip steps. We could talk about misinformation. We can, say all of these things. But in this case, people, they just really wanted something for nothing. And they got jacked. Essentially, they got jacked. They got robbed. And the likelihood of them even getting that money and recouping any of that money is very slim to none. I always hope people prevail in the name of justice for being scammed. But you just have to wait for the state attorney general to take some action if they're ever going to take action. And that's really just a waiting game. So there were a lot of red flags in the beginning with this BK Lobster restaurant place. And, for me, the biggest thing was Brooklyn lobster. Like, I'm from Louisiana. It is what it is. And we don't even really fool with lobster like that. Because, if you really know what time it is, like, lobster really ain't even all that. It's not. But it's just not. It's like a giant rubbery crawfish. But, it has its, if it's cooked right, like you're supposed to cook it, it can be like it's supposed to be, like people say it's supposed to be, but it's really not all that. But it's really just a giant crawfish. But come on, y'all, seriously, I wish I could take my attorney hat off in this video, but I really can't. But I just have to be real with people. Stop trying to get something for nothing. Stop trying to skip steps in entrepreneurship. Stop trying to do shady handshake deals, under the table deals, things of that nature, because you're always going to end up in this position. Once you hand over that money, it is a wrap. Okay, so you really have to be wise. And the saddest part is, these were black folks who were in this situation. So the fact that they had tens of thousands and even hundreds of thousands of dollars to hand over to this guy really shows that there are black people out there who have money to invest in themselves and invest in their entrepreneurship goals. They're just being robbed. Okay, they are just being robbed. So if you know that you're sitting on some stacks and some bands, go to a licensed attorney that you trust, of your choosing, to help guide you on the right path with your entrepreneurship journey. Because if something happens and things go awry, that attorney steals your money or runs off, like that, there's literally a disciplinary board that you can go to and hopefully get their license revoked, versus, just some regular old Joe Blow who's probably done skipped town, gonna be ducking and dodging, being served with a lawsuit. You just do not want to end up in that situation. So really take heed to this whole BK Lobster scandal. It's going to continue happening, like I say, because people, they just do not want to go through the process. People just want to skip steps. They want to take the shortcut. They want something for nothing, and they always get burned in the end. And like I said, who thinks of Brooklyn and Lobster? Like, nobody thinks about that. Like, no, that's just not what it is. No. So, and that name really couldn't even really be trademarked, now that I'm thinking about it. Because you got the geographic location for BK, and then Lobster, that's generic because it's a seafood restaurant. So it's going to be double disclaimed. No, generic. No. So this doggone business was just, it was doomed from the start, because it wasn't built on a solid legal foundation. It was built on scamming. So I just don't want y'all to put yourselves in these positions, because there's really nothing that a private attorney can do for you once you get in that position. You don't want to be in that position. Now, had they not handed over the money and took some of the cash that they had, went to a licensed attorney of their choosing to review those contracts, that attorney, unless they were in cahoots, with the owner, that attorney would have told them straight up, like, this is just some hogwash. Don't get involved in this. Leave this guy alone. Don't talk to him. Don't interact with him anymore, and be gone. Okay? So I don't want y'all to keep playing yourselves, essentially, and putting yourselves in these positions. That's not cool. It's not a good feeling to know that you lost tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars because you got scammed and you got played. So, I mean, that's really all I can really say about this situation. It was just people who, they just skipped every step. They just skipped every step and wanted, something for nothing. And this is a reoccurring pattern in entrepreneurship. So I am Queen, the Veiled Lawyer with Bell Taylor Law Firm. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this video. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to click subscribe. Thank you.